The Pulse of Spokane is a broad show that showcases many different things in our community, sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You. Well, welcome to the Pulse program. I hope you're having a good day today, and it is nice and warm outside, isn't it?
Yes.
It's supposed to be something like 84. We'll find out here in about 30 seconds what our temperature is going to be, but it's a great time. It's summer, finally, maybe for at least a few days. We know there'll be some thunderstorms coming in and things like that as we move forward. But I've got Mike Cummins. Did I get it right? Who is going to be my guest here, and we'll be back right after this.
Today, Spokane's weather is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 85, while this week will bring mostly sunny weather. Tonight will be clear with the low of 55. Today, Coeur d'Alene's weather is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 80 and a low of 55. Cheney's weather is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 83 and a low of 53.
Go Rogue this month with the 2020 Nissan Rogue and Rogue Sport. Great incentives to buy now with up to $3,000 in factory customer cash and 0% APR financing for 60 months on most 2020 Rogue Sport. If you need a little more room, save even more with up to $4,000 in factory customer cash on the 2020 Nissan Murano. So come see us at Wendell at the Y or WendellNissan.com.
I'm Mike Conrad, running for state representative for the 4th Legislative District, and I'm committed to bringing new energy, a new direction, a new name, and more importantly, a new representative who's willing to go and trim the fat.
Paid for by Mike Conrad for State Representative, Republican.
Well, welcome back. It's yes, it is. It's campaign season, and it's summer, and we have a lot of advertisements from various candidates because, in case you hadn't noticed out there, doorbelling is not really welcomed very, very well right now. So it's going to be a strange season. Do start thinking about voting because the ballots begin to get mailed on Wednesday. And so Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week, we should start to get, actually on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you should start to get the ballots. So anyway, Mike Cummins, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right, good. Have you been struggling through all of this craziness out here?
You know, it's been very interesting. I'm an administrator of a family practice clinic.
Right.
And in this process, it's been interesting to see how we do medicine in today's market, you know.
It's different, isn't it?
It's completely different, you know, and we have an upstairs and downstairs, and we've completely closed off the upstairs to downstairs even, that we are not letting staff transition between floors, even if we need assistance.
Yeah.
Just in case someone is tested positive, we don't want to have to close down the entire clinic.
Right, that would make sense.
Yeah.
That really would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What are some of the other things that have impacted the practice?
I would say the biggest impact is, you know, how we see patients. Some of our providers use scribes, some don't. But with those that use scribes, we originally wanted to make sure that they were safe. And we started problem solving. How do we ensure that, you know, we're not having too many people in a room, but yet the scribes are still able to do their positions.
Right.
And through that process, what we developed was a transmission consent, basically for patients to sign. Okay. Because we started using baby monitors.
Ah, okay.
Because it's a secured link.
That makes sense. Yeah. That really makes sense.
Yeah. So in each of the
when you talk about scribes, they're the people that take the notes and so forth, right, for the doctor or the provider, right?
Yeah. So the physician can have, you know, the one-on-one meeting with the patient. The scribe is in a completely
Everybody
different
to me just sits there and works like this and looks at me once in a while. Maybe I'm going the wrong place, huh? Gee.
Well, that's the market we live in now.
Yeah.
So, that's been interesting. And then just the aspect of, having patients room right from their cars, not using our waiting rooms.
Okay.
Going into
So
check-in from
do you go
online.
outside to bring them in and so forth? Or
Yeah, so now
send them a text?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So when patients call, we ask for their phone number, we ask for the color of their car.
Okay.
Then we let the nurse know, and then the nurse calls them when they're ready to room them.
Right.
And they meet them at our front door. They check their temperature, ask them a series of questions. And then we bring them in right to the room and see the patient. And then they, and before, patients used to walk out and check out. Well, we
Yes.
don't even do checkout now.
Oh.
So we just have them go home and we'll call them for follow-ups and everything else
Right.
afterwards. So
I've got to think, and I think from a financial standpoint, what does this do to the bottom line in terms of the cost now of waiting for someone to come to the door and come in and so forth? Are you finding you do less or fewer patients?
Well, just due to COVID, we've seen 50%, and that's pretty much nationwide. Most providers are seeing 50% less in patient volumes.
Right.
But in that, our telemedicine, which is, CMS was Johnny on the spot through this program, and, they started telemedicine and other insurance started following suit. It'll
Right.
be interesting to see how that all plays out
Right.
once COVID is done. Because now that patients are used to it,
Yes.
and the physicians are used to using it, to go back to only having rural and only being able to be in a physician clinic when patients are used to being in their homes, I hope insurances,
Yes.
will continue to allow telemedicine for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll have to be some changes,
Of course.
HIPAA compliance and things like that. But for the most part, it's been the one thing that's helping us.
Right.
We haven't laid anybody off. We haven't let anybody go through this
Wow.
whole time, and
Wow.
kept staff going. But it's things like
Is
that
that
that's
happening in
helped us.
other places too in the healthcare industry?
It depends on the clinic. It depends on
And the kind of service and
yeah,
so forth
yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
Right.
There's been many clinics that have had to lay people off, which
Mm-hmm.
is understandable with the patient volumes and things. But luckily with us, we haven't had that need yet.
Wow.
So
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it costs somebody something at some point,
Right,
I
right.
mean, and eventually it's going to be the insurance companies, the patient and
Yeah.
others, whether it's increased premiums down the road or whatever it might be. There's a cost to all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, there is,
Yeah.
time cost as well for everybody.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing you're doing. You're working on some other things too.
yes, it's been an interesting time.
We won't tell anybody, okay?
Yeah, let's keep it quiet.
Okay.
It's been interesting to try to start a business in this realm. The nice thing is you don't have to travel for all the meetings. You
Yeah.
can have the meetings right from your home. And
We
do
have
it all
become
digital.
so used to Zoom and those kinds of things these days, haven't
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
Had you heard of Zoom before all of this?
We have, but it's interesting how much more receptive people are to
Yeah.
actually using those platforms.
Yeah. Yes.
And some of it's learning, because
Oh,
how do you
yes.
interject and how do you raise your hand and who goes who and what, those are all learning curves for sure. But it's been viable. And basically what it is when I started out in this private practice, they wanted to start looking at their compensation model because of value-based payments. And basically what that is insurances now are saying, okay, physicians, we're going to pay you, but we're going to ask that you hit these certain quality metrics, and then you'll receive a payment a year later. So a lot of providers, this is a new form of payment system.
Okay.
And so our compensation models need to adjust in order to compensate for that
Yes,
money.
yes.
And how do you distribute that amongst the providers? And so last year when I started looking into building a compensation model for our physicians, I looked online and
Couldn't find something.
No, there wasn't
Let
anything.
me guess. You're working on one now.
That's right. So a friend of mine who used to do the compensation model for a local huge multi-specialty clinic here in town, and then I have a physician who does it, or a friend who does it as a consulting.
Okay.
And the three of us have started to develop the software in order to build compensation models.
Right.
So for practice people like me who are administrators, who their physicians want a new compensation model, yet you're not. I went through my master's program, never a topic.
It
that
wasn't
really
on
came
page
up.
32, was it?
Right. So, when I started getting into this and I started realizing, wait a minute, I can't be the only one that has this struggle,
Right.
and yet still needing to build something instead of hiring a consultant, at high cost dollars to a
Right.
small practice. What is a way that we can fix this problem? And it was by developing software. And And that's the other neat thing is as I've been developing this, there's a tight-knit group of entrepreneurs in Spokane that really want to help each other.
Yes.
And we've teamed up and been meeting on a monthly basis and working together, hearing everybody's stories and how to answer those questions.
We are a city, but we're still a town.
Yeah.
And I see that. I tell people, and I've said this many times, that I can get to somebody through at least one person.
Yeah.
And they'll at least listen and maybe offer advice or willing to have a cup of coffee or whatever. We do that here in Spokane. Can you imagine trying to do that in L.A. or Seattle? Or, well, Seattle might be that small at some point as people move away. But I mean, you know what I mean? In a big metropolitan area, you might have to drive for 2 hours across L.A. to sit down with somebody who would then give you some advice and counsel for no cost, just for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And we do that here in Spokane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not only the entrepreneurs, it's the investors.
Yes.
They sit down with you. Mark from Avista has been a great kind of champion of mine and has been willing to sit down and kind of go over my pitch deck and kind of critique me and give me pointers. And
so when is this going to come out? Tomorrow?
Well, that's the interesting thing. It
takes longer than
that.
I know that.
We always start a process and think, okay, in the next 6 months I'll have this up and running.
Yeah.
It's been a year, and this next week we'll be actually finalizing our IT people, who's out of Seattle actually.
Okay.
And then we'll start developing it, and probably within the next 3 months we'll have a product to actually start.
Okay.
And we have probably 6 physician groups that are already willing to test it and start using it for us to be like.
And that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
To have that testing, because they'll find out the glitches.
Right.
And there are always going to be glitches in something new.
Oh, for sure.
Always.
Right. Right. So it'll be interesting as it comes up and it starts going through. But the nice thing is we'll actually have something tangible. Right now it's been concepts and data sheets and spreadsheets and bringing that all together to actually have a product to actually use will be exciting.
Where can people learn more about what you're doing and so forth? How can they be in touch with you?
Yeah. Right now we are in the process of, and this is how new it is. I mean, we are developing we're getting our bylaws, our corporation set up and all that stuff right now.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. And it comes at you so fast. Like we were just talking about, there's a whirlwind around you, and working full time and doing this has been an interesting aspect. And that's one of the things that we just kind of started was finding someone to be our project manager to kind of help.
Yeah.
They're in a position right now where they're not working.
Right.
So they're able to help us, and she's amazing at what she does.
Oh,
so,
good.
So right now to get a hold of us, I would just say through my my LinkedIn page. Okay. Which is Mike Cummins. Okay. And the name of the
spell that because it's not.
Yeah. So it's Cummins, just like the engine, no relation. But us Cummins get the Cummings to put a G in, and then we take the G out, and it's back and forth. But yeah, so it's
I
Michael
think you need
Cummins.
more sleep. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now. So.
Are you really? Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
4 kids, working full time.
Yep.
It's a nonstop thing, but I enjoy it.
Try it at 74. Okay, you're just a kid.
I thought you were 50.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'll pay you after the show. Oh, that's great. Keep us posted on how you're doing, and I'd love to hear maybe after you've had some testing done and so forth. Maybe come back and talk about what's going on and all of that. I think I love to see new products and new services come from a need. Yeah. And that's usually how they usually happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but to see this, and here it is in Spokane, Washington, because it can be sold around the country, around the world.
Yeah.
So, great.
Thank
Probably
you.
will employ a couple of people at some point too, eh?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Yeah.
That's good. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right.
it. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for watching The Pulse of Spokane. Have a good day, everybody.
This is Looms Day in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Bloomsday.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Bloomsday wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Welcome to Apex Plaza, Spokane's one-stop cannabis destination. Apex Cannabis features thousands of economy, value, and luxury cannabis products. Cannagear features hemp-based CBD products, glass, goods, and gear. Stop by 1325 North Division to experience the Apex difference.
This product has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risk associated with the consumption of this product. For use only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.
The economy is getting stronger. Banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.